Hello, gamers from around the world. This is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to this week's episode of The World of Gaming. And Dutch, we are here on a very unusual day, on a Saturday. But
yes, indeed.
yeah, we were not able to make it in the regular time slot this week. And since, unfortunately, we had to skip the last two podcasts because last week I was out on a wedding, and the week before I don't even know why we skipped there, but there was another reason, and so we decided we're not going to skip this week again, but we have to move it to Saturday.
I think it was like a stag do or something, was it not?
Something. Anyway, we are back this week, and I'm looking forward to discuss a lot of interesting stuff here today. And before we do that, I would like to welcome our awesome community. A big welcome to you guys. I see a lot of familiar names in the chat already. A big welcome to everyone who listens after the fact, either here on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you're listening. Welcome to this week's episode of The World of Gaming. And we have plenty of good stuff to talk about because whenever you skip a week or two in doing podcasts, of course, there's stuff to talk about. So we're gonna do that. But first, Dutch, of course, we need to talk about the most important thing in gaming, and that are the games that we are playing. So what has kept you busy over the last couple of weeks? And everyone in the chat, let us know, what have you been playing lately?
Yeah, to be fair, again, not too much. I have played one of the new games though, in Keeper, so I get a chance to play Keeper.
Nice.
Which is Double Fine's new game, very relaxing game.
Indeed,
it's not a game you really need to. Yeah, it's not a game that's takes. It's very narrative. It's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
It's not something you have to kind of think about too much. There isn't any words on screen you need to pay attention to. It's visual storytelling. It's no dialogue or anything like that. It's all just visual storytelling, and it's really chilled. It's really relaxed. It's nice, easy. It's beautiful. It's whimsical, and it's doesn't outstay its welcome either. And I haven't completely finished it yet. I'd put it down for a moment, but I don't know how far you're into it, but he's no longer a lighthouse where I'm up to. He's now a boat.
I would say I'm about 6 hours or so in.
Okay.
It feels like I'm coming to the end.
Yeah.
So maybe another 2 hours or so would be my guess. But I agree with you. It's a very relaxing game. I mean, it's nothing that sets the world on fire or anything like that, but it is beautiful. It has a fantastic, very calming soundtrack. You know, the riddles are not really hard, so it's not like you have to really be focused on what you're doing. It's something I've been playing, for like 30 minutes before I go to bed. On my new Xbox Ellie, and
which we'll get into in a bit.
We'll talk about that thing in a bit. Indeed. But yeah, I agree. Very calming, sweet little game that you can play in between, just to calm down. Yeah, good stuff. What else have you been playing, man?
I haven't jumped into Battlefield yet, although I will be. First thing I'm going to do on that, for anybody watching, isn't multiplayer. I'm going to be playing the campaign first. And when the campaign's done, Season 1's only just started on multiplayer.
Yeah.
So I'm coming into the game at the right time, I think, as opposed to playing it at launch. Because if I played it at launch, I would have been grinding on Battlefield before the season had started. And before they've introduced kind of new maps and new game types and things like that, and the ranking really makes a difference. So starting it now makes a bit more sense than it did starting it when it originally launched, because at least everything's out now, and now we've got a battle royale on there as well. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so I'll be doing that shortly, but I have been playing a little bit of the new Pokemon Legends ZA.
Nice.
It's definitely a different take on Pokemon because it's solely city based.
Yeah.
Um, it's not so much. How do I put it? It's for anyone who's played Legends Arceus, it is like that, but also your Pokemon move around with you, and you've got area of effect
Mhm.
damages, so you can kind of do damage to multiple things at any one time. But you can also kind of your Pokemon run around the battlefield with you, as opposed to just standing still and kind of taking hits. You can kind of get them out the way and move them around and things like that
Yeah.
in the middle of a battle. So they've changed it out a little bit in that sense as well. But they've also, there's quite a lot of new mechanics to learn. I know people online have had gripes about the graphical elements of Pokemon, but let's face it, it's Pokemon. I've never been one to really come on. I'm never one that's going to be like, oh yeah, but Nintendo have got so much money they can yes, they've got loads of money and they could easily spend billions on making the most realistic
Mm.
Pokemon ever, but that's not what Pokemon is. It's not to satisfy the needs of and whims of adults. It's kind of a game that is meant to be appeasing to people of all ages. Um, so they never have focused on graphics, and yes, some of it's criminal where they've just put JPEGs for Windows and things like that.
Yeah.
But it isn't also, should we say, a full-fledged mainline Pokemon title as much as you think it is, because it's not a new generation. It's an in-between generation game. So we had Scarlet and Violet, and then you have Legends ZA, and then you have the next new gen game, which they've been speaking about for a bit. And it was the same before that. You had another game, but then you had Sword and Shield, and then you had another game, and then you had Diamond and Pearl, and it goes back and back and back. But either way, yeah, it's a good mid gen game, and by that I mean mid generation Pokemon game.
Mm.
Very intriguing. They've improved a little bit. Your characters aren't like little tiny kids; it's more like teenagers running around now as opposed to kids.
Yeah.
Um, Intriguing little story. See what's going on with it. But yeah, I'm just getting into that at the moment. And again, it's a relaxing RPG. One other thing I did pick up though on the Switch 2, which I'm intrigued to see how it handles, because it was on sale for less than £10, was Hogwarts Legacy,
Ooh,
the Switch
interesting.
2 version
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like £8.94 or something. I was like, oh, I'll get that.
After it got added to Gamepass, I've been seeing quite a few people playing that in my friends list.
Oh, and rightfully so.
Great game. Fantastic
Yep,
game, honestly.
yep.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So let us see what the chat has been playing. BT Maverick has been playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate on the Steam Deck. He says his first playthrough and he misses the old style. Actually, I feel like Syndicate is one of the overlooked Assassin's Creed. That was actually not too bad. And he is 13 hours in on Outer Worlds on PC.
Nice.
Nice. H.
It's
Julia
another
has.
one I've yet to install. But I've
I've
also been told to play Ball X Pit by you.
You have
So
to. I'll explain to you in a second why. Uh, but let's see. H. Julia has also been playing The Outer Worlds 2. Great game. I'll talk about that in a second. What else? Walla Weasel has been playing Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, Keeper, Hurtling, and Ball X Pit. There you go. Ball X Pit, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. So Dutch, yeah, what has kept me busy? I've been playing quite a few games actually lately. I finished up. Um, I finished up Borderlands 4 since our last
nice.
podcast, and then all hell broke loose, and so many games came out. And usually I'm one game at a time kind of guy. I play one game, I finished it up, start with the next one, finish that up, and I'm not jumping usually in between games. But lately, since there have been so many releases, I've been doing that. And I've been also playing Keeper. I've yet to finish it. About 6 hours in, we already talked about it. Great, calming, and relaxing game.
Yeah.
Then I've started Ninja Gaiden 4. Uh, really not far into that yet. I want to say maybe 4 hours or so.
Okay.
I've been going back and forth in between the Rock Xbox LEX and the Xbox console, and it is good. It's actually really good. I don't feel like this is a mind-blowing game like some people made it out to be. I've been seeing like, oh, this is the greatest action game in the last 10 years and comments like that. I don't feel it. It's
Right.
it's a good game. Don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying it. The few hours I've played, I have to continue, but there's one game who has been sucking up my time. But it looks good. It handles good. The camera movement is good. Finally, in a Ninja Gaiden game. um,
Yeah. Yeah.
the the combat mechanics that you develop step after step gives you a lot of choices. It's balls hard. It is a really tough game if you're not playing on easy mode. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to play more of it. Then I have also started Outer Worlds 2. I'm also very early in because it just came out like 2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
I've played like, I don't want to say, maybe the first 4-5 hours, something like that, maybe 6. But I'm enjoying what I've played. It's exactly what you want from an Obsidian game, right? It has this great humor in there, good storytelling, great writing, and you can already tell even early in the game you kind of need to make a lot of difficult choices that really impact the story, the world, and everything that happens. So that is really good. I'm absolutely surprised by how good the gunplay is. Actually, there's a big step up over the first one. While in the first one, and I really enjoyed the first one, don't get me wrong, but the gunplay, it wasn't impactful. It didn't really feel good. This is completely different. It feels really good. The shooting feels good. Even the melee combat feels very similar to what Avowed did. Um, it is really good, and it looks fantastic. It is. I've seen people complain about the art style, making it look like an 80s game, which is ridiculous. However, I've seen those posts, and I would just want to say the game doesn't aim for a photorealistic art style, you know,
Yeah.
and it does look super crisp. They on console you have 3 modes. You have the performance mode, the quality mode, and a balanced mode. And the balance mode is actually what I've been playing most when I'm playing on console. But I've also played a lot on the LEX. Um, and balance mode, if you have a VRR screen, feels really good and looks crisp and sharp, and the colors are popping. It looks fantastic if you play that on an OLED HDR screen, right? It really is a great game that I'll be spending probably way too much time. But then there was one game, and that totally surprised me, Dutch. A lot of people here from our community reached out to me and said, "Dude, you need to try out Ball X Pit." And I was looking at this. It is this pixel art indie game made by 2 guys, um, and I thought, yeah, what's that shit? When I've seen it, but I tried that, and dude, it sucked me in. It's been a long time since I've been so addicted to a game. I can't stop playing. It's it's a roguelite
Yeah.
scrolling shooter. You remember there were back in the 80s and 90s, we had a lot of these starship scrolling shooters where you had a starship that just moved straight up in the level, and you had to move the ship left and right and shoot rocks that fall at you or stuff like that. We had it's kind of that game, but a roguelike. There's base building. There is it is crazy good. Um, you have you start out with one character, and once you play, you gain different resources. You know, there's wood, rocks, food, and money, gold. And then you build up your base, and the better your base is, the better your character becomes. And then you can add a second character and a third character, and it forces you kind of, if you want to unlock the next level, you have to finish every level with more than one character. So it really forces you to switch around in between the different characters that you unlock, and they have really different play styles, and it is just such an addictive loop. Just one more round, just one more round. This time I'm gonna beat this level with that character, and then okay, now I've added something great to my base, and that improves my stats, and just one more round, and I'm sitting there playing till 3 a.m. in the morning, regretting it the next morning, and doing the same again the next night. And it is perfect to play on a handheld. It plays so good on a handheld, and that is the dangerous thing. Last night, my wife it was like at 2 or 3 a.m. You know, I was lying in bed with the Rock Xbox Ellie. She was already sleeping, of course, and it was like, dude, just go to sleep. And I can't stop playing it. I'm so addicted to this game, and I couldn't recommend it more. It's in Game Pass. But it is also available on everything else. It's on Steam. It is on the Switch. It's on PlayStation. You can play it everywhere. It's a super cheap indie. I think if you buy it, it costs like $10 or so. But it is also, like I said, in Game Pass. Play anywhere, of course, and I could not recommend it more. It is such an addictive and fun gameplay loop, and I'm having an absolute blast with that game. And that is the reason why I have not been playing as much Ninja Gaiden and Outer Worlds as I wanted, but I can't stop playing that game, dude. You need to play it.
Yeah, so I've heard. So I've heard.
Then do
I
it.
will. I will. I will.
Don't blame me if you get addicted as well.
Oh, I will. I'll absolutely
Oh,
blame
okay. I'm gonna take the blame. I'm gonna take the blame. All right, Dutch. Let's see what gameplay are we putting on today. Outer Worlds 2 is leading, so I'll be closing the poll there. I'm gonna switch to Outer Worlds 2 gameplay. I was not able to record many hours because most of the time I have been playing on the Rock Xbox Ellie X, and so I've only recorded about an hour or so that I played on console. The other time I was always playing on the Ellie, and I cannot record when I'm playing on the Ellie. So, Dutch, let me shout out H. Julia, who sends in a channel member chat for being a channel member for 21 months now. Thank you so much for the continued support. And the member chat says, but I bought a Rock Xbox Ellie. Sweet. Awesome. Let me know in the chat, how do you like it? Because Dutch, I got mine as well. Got it right here.
You did.
It is. I have it now for. It came a little late.
It did.
You
had a bit of an issue with it.
I did have an issue. I pre-ordered at MediaMarkt. It was the only retailer outside of the Asus store that allowed to pre-order here in Germany, and MediaMarkt didn't came through. But luckily, like a day or two after the launch of the Rock Xbox Ellie, it was available to order in directly in the Asus store again. So I did order it there, and a few days later it was here. So I've played with it now for 1.5 weeks,
Nice.
and I've been playing actually quite a lot on it. And I'm gonna give my thoughts in a second, but I want to shout out Drawn TJ, who sends in a super chat of $20. Thank you so much for this generous super chat. And TJ says, "Hi guys, keep up the amazing content. The next Xbox will be amazing. What games are you excited for next year? We got GTA, Forza, Halo, State of Decay 3, possibly, and Fable, and possibly Gears of War E-Day." First of all,
And for the
thank you so
Horizon 6.
much. We're definitely gonna continue to make content, and hopefully a bit more regularly as of late. But yeah, Dutch, what are you? We will definitely talk about the next gen Xbox later. It's one of our main topics. But what games for 26 are you looking forward to? There's quite a list. Next year is gonna be an insanely good year for games.
Yeah, I mean it has been anyway. To be fair, I think gaming wise, there's been a lot of great games released. I think it's just the topic's always about the negatives that the companies do on the back end of it.
Yes.
But in terms of the games that have released, they continue to be great. Again, right now we're in a month where we've had Keeper, Outer Worlds, and Ninja Gaiden 4 released in a singular month,
Yeah, and Battlefield.
and Battlefield.
Yeah.
But I mean, just specifically from Xbox, you've had those released in a singular month, 1 month, 3 games. And then you've got Battlefield, and now obviously you're talking about little indie games that are addictive as hell.
Yes.
And then obviously you've had Legends of the drop as well for Nintendo, and you've had
But the
there's
headlines are always something negative.
the negative stuff exactly.
I
But no,
don't.
there's so much next year for
Yeah,
me. Number one's Fable,
I
100%.
agree. I agree. I would put that above GTA 6.
Yep, for me personally.
Yeah.
It's only because like I know exactly what I'm getting with GTA. And it's like it's it sounds strange to say that, but I know I'm getting another GTA.
Yeah.
Whereas with Fable, it's like a reinvigoration of an older franchise that I loved.
Yes.
That's coming back again, and I'm dying to see what Playground are doing with it. So yeah,
Agreed.
Fable's my number one for next year, without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, there's plenty of good stuff. TJ already mentioned Forza is coming, which is going to be
Yeah, D-Day,
fantastic. E-Day, I'm really looking forward to it. Halo,
Halo
of
remastered.
course. Uh, One game that I'm super excited and I would put that in my most anticipated top 3 for next year is Crimson Desert. That game looks just like it's right up my alley, you know. Big
Well,
action
now that
RPG.
they've turned it away from being an MMO,
Yeah. Yeah, single player action RPG, open world, set in a high fantasy setting. It looks fantastic. Combat looks super fun. I cannot wait. That comes very early next year, actually. I think February, if I remember correctly. Um, Definitely looking forward to that. I'm not sure about State of Decay 3, if that will
I don't
be.
think that will come out next year.
I doubt it, honestly. I think Clockwork could be one of the games for next year.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I'd agree with that. But I'm also looking forward to Forza Horizon 6 because it's in Japan,
Absolutely.
and we get to learn more about that in the new year.
Yeah, yeah. The developer direct in January is going to be very interesting because they have so many games that they could put in there, right? And Forza definitely up there, definitely up there. But GTA 6, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that as well. There's some really good stuff coming next year. This is gonna be a fantastic year, and also a lot of big games. You know, GTA, Fable, Crimson Desert, and so on. They are gonna keep you busy for a long, long, long time. So yeah, next year's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be awesome. But Dutch, You didn't manage to order your ROG Xbox Ellie yet?
Nope, still not available.
It's very unfortunate to hear.
The only one that is available on both of the sites is the regular Alien,
Yeah,
like the regular
I would
Xbox
hold
Alien.
off.
I've already seen the
Yeah,
reviews on it, and it's underpowered. It doesn't play games great. Everything's in low. That's not why I don't want to play everything in low.
it
If
was.
I'm spending money,
Yeah,
like especially like 500 money, I don't want to play stuff in low.
yeah. It was the exact same thing with the original Rock Alley. Yeah, the original Rock Alley also launched in two versions, one with the Set One Extreme and one with the base Set One chip, and it was the exact same thing there. Yeah. So I got the Rock Xbox LEX with the Set Two Extreme, and
Yeah.
I've got a lot of stuff to say about it. So you just have to listen now, since you were not able to get one yet. But let me know in the chat if someone in our community got one. H. Julia already mentioned that. If you have one, and what are your thoughts on it? So let me start with the hardware. The hardware is.
You just give everyone a nice view of it. Lift it up. Show
I
everybody.
lift it up. It's a bit
Here you go.
stupid for the for our. Let me put us in big screen mode real quick. So it looks fantastic, and I don't care how it looks. The important question is how it feels, and it really feels good. It just feels like they've sawed a regular Xbox controller in half, put a screen in between. It is a weird look with these grips on the side, but that makes it really feel like an actual Xbox controller, and the weight is perfectly balanced. That was one of the things in the old Ellie. The old Ellie had like a lot of the weight in the top of the device, and so if you were holding it longer, you always felt like, okay, I have to actually lift that thing up. But this time they've moved the main part of the weight more downwards on the lower end of the screen, and that makes it really good and stable in the hand, even in longer gaming sessions. Like last night, I've been playing like 6 hours straight on that thing, and it feels really, really well. The triggers are fantastic. The haptics of every push of a button feels good. The sticks in the Rock LEX, they have the Hall effect sticks, really good, super responsive. The display is basically the same like in the OG LE that I had before, which is totally fine. It's a 1080p screen with popping colors. It's not an OLED, I know that, but honestly, I don't mind.
It's exactly the same with and I have to revert to the Switch here, but the Switch isn't an OLED either. But it's a great screen. It's a really good screen, really vibrant.
Yeah,
so I would imagine that's kind of the same. And again, the more technology improves, the better the screens get. When you get an OLED screen anyway, yes, it's going to be more vibrant, but you'll not really miss an OLED from one of the brand new screens that they're implementing.
I agree. I've seen that as a negative in a lot of the reviews. And honestly, I think it's a little overemphasized because it is actually a really good LCD screen that they put in. And it is the only handheld out there, along with the OG LE, that has VRR included, which, especially on handhelds, is an absolute game changer, because you really do not notice the little frame dips that you occasionally get when you since you are playing on a portable device, and that goes for everything else, the Lenovo Legion Go, or 1 and 2, or the Steam Deck, or whatever you're playing on. You will have it is a handheld, right? You will have occasionally dips here and there, and you will never ever notice them if you have VR on. And that is that is way more important to me than having the OLED screen in that thing. Um, so that is really, really good. It's a lot less noisy than the OG LE. You barely can hear
Yeah.
the blowers and the cooling fans. The built-in speakers are really good if you are listening to them whilst playing. Um, it is really weird when you like have that thing straight in front of you and you're just playing. It's a really good sound for a built-in speaker. Of course, it's not like a super duper headset, but it is really a good sound. But as soon as you tilt it slightly, the there is like the really noticeable drop off in the sound quality. But when you hold it in regular position, it's a really good sound system that is built in there. And I'm also very, very happy that they significantly improved the battery lifetime. Um, I had the OG LE, and with the OG LE, depending, of course, on the game, you had somewhere in between 40 to 60 minutes that you could play on battery, and then you had to plug it in somehow.
Mhm.
Um, this is really different. Even with very high demanding games, and I've played a lot of them. I've tried, of course, some of the latest games, Outer Worlds 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, but I've also, of course, installed The Witcher. I've also played Forza Horizon. I've also played Assassin's Creed Shadows on them. All very demanding games, right?
Yeah.
Um, and the battery life is easily a lot good amount over 2 hours, 2.5 hours with a very demanding game. Um, with less demanding games like Ball X Pit that I've been playing, I can get up to 5 hours, dude. And this is really good for a handheld. This is really,
Yeah.
really good. And I do really appreciate that. So hardware wise, I can only recommend that thing. Once you're playing a game, it is fantastic. Um, I've seen benchmarks out there saying, okay, it is only like an improvement of 15 to 20% over the Z1 Extreme, the previous Rock Alley that I had. But honestly, I had that thing and I have not done like a actual really measurement on this, but just a gamer that plays games and it does enjoy games. I played Witcher 3 on the old LE, of course. I had to play it in low settings so I can get 50 to 60 FPS. On this thing, I'm playing it on high settings to get 60 FPS, right? Forza Horizon 5. I've been playing that on low to medium settings on the old one. Now I'm playing at high and one or two settings like texture quality on ultra, and I'm getting 60 FPS. Right? I play Ninja Gaiden now on medium settings at 60. I play Outer Worlds 2 on medium to high settings and get around 50 FPS. Um, so that thing really is powerful and it is a fantastic experience. And one thing that people sometimes underestimate and they think, oh, I have to play on medium settings, but medium settings, that does not look good, and so on. The thing is, since the screen is small, it does make a big difference if you're playing on medium settings on a small screen or a big screen. And with a small screen like this, um, medium settings, most games look absolutely stunning and phenomenal. If you're playing Assassin's Creed Shadows on such a small screen in medium settings, honestly, that is mind blowing visuals.
Yeah.
Um, so Yeah, that hardware-wise, it really, really is good. It plays fantastic. The battery life is good. Um, Finally good. Um, Let us talk about the user experience because that was one of the big selling points and points in the advertisements. The Xbox full screen experience, right? Um, Microsoft has, well, don't want to say developed a new Windows, but it kind of feels like it. They have developed this full screen experience, which actually shuts down a lot of the regular Windows background tasks. And when you boot that thing up, it automatically boots into this full screen experience, and a lot of the background Windows stuff is turned off, so you have a lot more um, resources for gaming, right? Windows takes up then less RAM, less CPU overhead, and so on, which is now available, of course, for games. And that is really good. Yeah? I super appreciate that. But that's about it, what I do appreciate about it. Because they have advertised this as okay, this full screen experience will make it feel more like a console experience. And that's really not the case. And I'm always a little confused because when I've seen the reviews, a lot of people always said, well, it is so painful to navigate through regular windows on a small screen like this with touch controls when you don't have a mouse and keyboard. Yeah, it is so painful to navigate through windows, and that's why this is fantastic. And I cannot understand this. It's beyond me, and it tells me that every reviewer, and I would say I read probably at least 10 to 15 reviews, and 90% of the reviews have exactly complained about that and praised it now that it is good and it is now a lot better experience because it makes navigating through windows so much easier and stuff like that. And that just tells me that they have not tried it or have no idea what they are talking about. Because on every other Windows handheld, you never navigate through windows. But who is doing PowerPoint presentations on that thing? I don't know. That's not the purpose of this device, right? It's for playing games. And you don't navigate through windows when playing a game. So this is really not the pain point. The pain point that Windows are mainly two or three things. And they have not addressed one of them in the full screen experience. The biggest problem with handheld gaming is updates. Yeah. When you had the OGLE, there were 4 different places that you need to do updates. You had to do the Windows update, right? Then you had to update the Armory Crate. You had to do some updates through the My Asus app, and then you had to do the updates in the Microsoft Store. And that's the only time when you navigate through Windows. You need to go to Windows updates. You need to go to the My Asus app, and you need to go to the Armory Crate, and so on. And nothing of this has been addressed with the full screen experience. You have to do the exact same bullshit. You have to leave the full screen experience. You have to navigate through Windows to do all the updates. So I don't get the benefit of the full screen experience. Then they have advertised, well, the full screen experience allows you to launch your games from one place. Cool. But that is already available. The OGLE had the Armory Crate, and in the Armory Crate, you had all your games in one place with the push of a button. You could open up every game you have installed. So it's nothing new. The full screen experience, everything is in one place, is a complete marketing bullshit. Because what it actually does is, if you click on a game that you have installed from Steam, it just opens up Steam, and then you have to navigate through Steam to open your game, or it opens up Epic or whatever. Yeah, good old games and so on. So you can also not download and install the games that you do own on Steam or wherever, or Epic or whatever, through the full screen experience. Yeah, you have to leave the full screen experience, go to Steam, download it, and install it. So I really do not get the benefit of this. So the biggest issues, yeah, like updates, having actually access to your games through the full screen experience, have not been addressed. Also, the full screen experience does not allow you to like upload your games, your screenshots or game clips or whatever that you took. You have to go to Windows. You have to go to a regular Windows folder browser and then upload it to the um, to the to OneDrive or wherever. Yeah, um, also not possible to do that. So as much as I really, really like the hardware, when it plays games, they run fantastic. The full screen experience, I've seen a lot of people say, well, this is only the early stage and they are going to improve it. My problem is that everything that they have announced what they want to improve is nothing that I complain about. They have not addressed the biggest problems at all. They didn't even try to attempt to address those problems, like having all your updates in one place, like actually launch the games without having to manually open up Steam and Epic and everything. Yeah, I know that there's a licensing issue, but if I want to play an installed game, a Steam installed game, just open Steam in the background. Don't let me do it. Because this is really what is then the pain in the ass of Windows gaming. And nothing of this has been even remotely addressed. They didn't even try to attempt it. So the full screen experience is not just in beta, it is bullshit if they're going to continue with it like that. Um, because it is not a full screen experience. It is nothing close to what they've promised. So I'm disappointed in the full screen experience. It does. Maybe I'm a little overly negative about it because if you just want to play a game that you have installed, it's a couple of clicks and you can start it. It's not like a super pain in the ass, but it is also no improvement over what we had before we had the full screen experience, right? And that's my
It's
thing.
enough of a pain in the ass to talk about it.
Yeah. So it is not as convenient as they made it out to be. And again, the biggest problems, like um, like having updates in one place, which you do, for instance, on the Steam Deck, right? That's just an update button, and it updates everything, the drivers or the BIOS or whatever. Yeah, it's not present here. Um, what I do want to mention is kudos to Asus. They have still installed the Armory Crate as default, per default, and the new Armory Crate version is fantastic because it allows you now to customize the Armory Crate experience a lot more to what's your needs. Um, and it makes it even more simple to switch in between different power modes, different game profiles that you have saved for if you want to remap like certain button layouts also for dedicated games. Um, it also allows you now super easy to turn off stuff like the CPU boost or things that will save you a lot of battery life if you don't need it. Yeah, if you're not playing a too demanding game, one push of a button and bam, CPU boost is off. Stuff like that. The Armory Crate itself is now still even better. It was good on the previous Ellie, but they have really made it more customizable and easier to navigate. And the Armory Crate itself is fantastic. So overall, Dutch, I can absolutely recommend this device, absolutely, because after all, 99% of the time you're not navigating through Windows or the full screen experience. You're just playing games, and playing games on it is absolutely awesome. So, um, yeah, it is a fantastic handheld, great hardware, great battery life, great screen. Full screen experience is a marketing scam, nothing more. And playing games on that thing is pure fun. Absolutely.
And that's all that matters.
True that. True that. Let me see what the chat has been saying. Um, Luke is in the chat. First of all, cheers, brother. And he says, yeah, the full screen experience is better than nothing, but it's still pretty poor compared to something like SteamOS. Lots of improvements to be made. I agree. I absolutely agree. And it's, again, SteamOS was also in its very first release not a good experience. No doubt. The thing is, I could see the vision where Steam was going. I cannot see this thing because, again, if they would have tried to unify updates, for instance, let me take this as an example, and it's just not properly working yet, I would say, okay, this is something they need to fix and make it better. But the harsh reality is there wasn't even an attempt to do something like that. And that just tells me that they didn't really consider how people are actually using this device. And there are constant updates, either Windows or some driver that you have to do in the Armory crate, or some app or game that you have installed or something. There's always something to update. Yeah. Constantino Pascal in the chat also says he's not booting in the full screen experience because it's bugged. I really have not encountered many bugs per se. I just feel like the feature set is not there what you want
Yet. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe Dutch, they are going to improve that, and really actually change how this thing works. But as of right now, and probably for in the foreseeable future, I do not see them addressing those things because they've already told us what the next updates will be, which is stuff like downloading shader compilers already. Yeah, which is cool. When you boot up for the first time a game, you don't have to wait till the shaders are compiled. But honestly, is that really changing my experience that dramatically? Like it took me 2 minutes or so to compile the shaders for Outer Worlds 2, and then I was good to go. And it's a one-time thing. It's not like every time you boot up the game, it's a one-time thing the first time you boot it up. So stuff like that is really not changing the experience dramatically. What would be changing the the experience dramatically is doing the stuff I already told you about. So, yeah. Overall, great PC handheld.
But the user experience could be better.
User experience could be better. Anything you would like to add, or shall we just move to the next topic?
Yeah, I mean, I don't own one yet, so better off moving to the next topic.
All right. I think we will be talking about the Rock Alley again once you've got yours.
Yeah.
All right, Dutch. What else happened actually over the last 2 weeks, because there wasn't a podcast last week? Halo. Let's talk about Halo.
Yes.
During the Halo World Championship, they've revealed a trailer for the remake of Halo Combat Evolved.
Yeah.
It is running in Unreal Engine 5.
Yep.
It's single player only. They did not remake the multiplayer. It's just a campaign. That's why they call it Campaign Evolved, right?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts, man, on the new Halo reveal? And then chat, let us know, what did you guys think?
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, it looks fantastic. We were kind of suspecting they would do something very similar, just to kind of test out what they could do with Unreal, to see how they could get it to work, and see how. To me, I've always said the only thing about Halo when it moves to Unreal is does it still feel like Halo when you play it, and that's the only thing I think everybody's going to be thinking.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just a change in engine, right? They've
Yeah.
added things like sprint
Yeah.
to Halo.
Yeah, because yeah, I mean, it's not like you don't have to sprint. You press the buttons. You control the way your character moves, so you don't have to sprint. I mean, people have made a big deal out of the fact that there's sprint in there now.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I get why they are doing it.
Yeah.
You kind of have to modernize Halo. For a lot of people, this is going to be the first time that they are playing Halo, because it's also not just coming to PlayStation, but there is an entire generation of gamers out there that never experienced the original Halos. Yeah.
Nope.
Some of them might have tried out Halo Infinite or something, but for a lot of people, this is going to be a first time Halo experience. And Halo is what now? 24 years? Yeah, 24 years old. By the time it comes out, 25 years old.
Yep.
And guess what? Over the last 25 years, shooters and how they feel and play have evolved and changed. And so
Massively.
Yeah, so you kind of have to modernize that. And I'm totally fine with that. I'm also totally fine with them moving to Unreal Engine. I've seen people complain about that because, of course, with Unreal Engine 5, we've seen a lot of issues introduced in other games, right? The typical Unreal stuff. However, I have full confidence that this is going to be technically on a good level, because the Halo studios do have the support from other studios like the Coalition that truly know their way around in an Unreal game, right? So I'm good with that. I think it looks fantastic. It's beautiful. It's still got the same, Halo vibe. But when you
Yeah.
look at how beautiful everything looks now, from the environments, the water, the lighting, everything looks great. I'm looking forward to it. I do have one thing though. I'm not super excited. Like, and that the reason is simply I've played it so many times already. They already did
Yeah.
do a remaster of this, right? So it
Yeah. I
is.
mean, I actually downloaded it after watching the thing the other day and played through the first couple of levels again of the original Halo Combat Evolved. Just because again they'd already remastered it in the Master Chief Collection, so you can, and of
You
course it
can. I mean,
can do that.
it feels a little bit like the Gears Reloaded thing, right?
Yeah.
Where they already had done a remaster, and then you make a remaster of the remaster. I know this is a little different because this time it's an actual real remake in a new engine
Yeah.
and everything. So there's a lot more effort than they did with Gears Reloaded. But
Significantly more.
yeah, but overall, I'm looking forward to play through the campaign again. But it's not like I'm going crazy about this, because, well, if I want to play Halo, I can already play a good remaster of it. But yeah, I mean, for next year, they have their 25th anniversary coming up next year, right? Um, and to celebrate that with a proper remake of the game that made Xbox the place for shooters, right? Um,
Yeah,
Halo defined what the original Xbox was, and actually also the 360 generation. Uh, it's it's one of the most iconic gaming franchises out there, and to celebrate the 25th anniversary along with a proper remake of that is something really, really cool. Dutch, what are your thoughts on this game coming to PlayStation as well?
you know
Because
what? I'm already way past caring about that anymore. Way past caring about it. I've completely accepted it. Oh, even before Gears Reloaded and everything. It's the route they're going down. Every game will go onto PlayStation, no matter what it is. I do believe Fable and things will go onto PlayStation at some point as well.
yeah,
If not at launch, maybe 6 months after launch. But the vast majority of games in the future will be aiming to hit all platforms on the same day. And by all
yeah,
platforms, I don't necessarily mean in Switch, because as you found out, Halo isn't going to Switch, at least not at launch. There's no
yeah.
doubt it possibly will in the future, but at launch, at least it's not. Um,
And Forza Horizon 6 is also not a day one
yeah,
launch on
yeah.
PlayStation as well.
But they
Yeah,
have mentioned it is going to be going to PlayStation, because they mentioned that
yeah,
after the
yeah,
fact.
yeah, yeah.
So it's just a case
Just a
of,
matter of when and not if.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's so I'm really not bothered. Um, and again, people were talking about, oh well, multiplayer. I was like, well,
yeah,
first of all, Halo campaign evolved is the campaign. There is no multiplayer. It is couch co-op or online co-op, and that's it. And yes, you can do cross-platform online co-op if you want to, but
yeah,
it's a co-op game, so you don't have to worry about the online aspect of it. There, and if more people play it, more people play it. I don't care anymore. I'm so past
yeah,
caring about it. Just play great games when great games come out. Let's talk about playing great games, and it's going to be good for these people who have you, as you've mentioned, not just a whole wave of people on Xbox who've were too young to have played the original Halos, and then they haven't picked up Master Chief Collection and went back and played the originals or went through the campaigns on the originals. And there's a whole wave of those, and also PlayStation players who get to play it for the first time ever, and now in much better quality.
yeah.
So yeah, hats off to them for having that ability to do so.
Agree. I agree. I also don't care anymore. Uh, it has made the community discuss this again. I think we are past this point. And just this week, Sarah Bond gave an interview, and she said, "We are seeing people evolve way past that." And she was referring um, to exclusives, right? She said, "We are really seeing people evolve way past that. Like the biggest games in the world are available everywhere. You look at Call of Duty, you look at Minecraft, you look at Fortnite and Roblox and so on. You want to be able to play with your friends anywhere, regardless of what they are on. And we are really leaning into that with this experience because it just opens up another way for you to play, as does cloud, as does PC, as the other consoles that we all own and have in our living room. And I don't think that we need to discuss this like with every game, right? That they announce that they bring to PlayStation, but somehow people are picking it up every time. Um, I've come, I've been critical about this. I still believe that in the long run, it will hurt the console ecosystem. It will Xbox itself as a publisher will be absolutely fine and they will make a shitload of money. But I think the exclusive thing, not having exclusives to your ecosystem, will hurt the consoles, especially in the long run. But I've came to accept because I cannot change it. I still get to play great games, and that's in the end the most important thing to me, right? Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I still completely agree on that, and my position on that has never changed. I fully believe that in the long run it will damage the ecosystem, but Microsoft seem intent on not caring about that, or
Yeah.
at least feigning ignorance to it.
Yeah. Agree. Agree. All right, Dutch. Um, then let us move on, and let's stay with um, some of the Xbox executives, because over the last couple of days there were a couple of headlines. Matt Booty gave an interview um, where he said that Xbox biggest competition isn't other consoles, but it's actually TikTok and movies. And just the 2 days after that, Satya Nadella came out and also discussed a little bit the future of the Xbox gaming division. Um, and he also talked about this, that the and agreed with the statement of Matt Booty that Xbox competition isn't other gaming platforms, it's TikTok. And this was like also picked up by the community a lot. So I wanted to discuss this with you. Do you agree with them? What are your thoughts on this? Because I've seen some very diverse opinions on this. Dutch.
So I think everyone's mostly thought about the literal sense of the word and not the theoretical sense of the word. They're not talking about literally competing with TikTok and etc. What
Yeah,
they're
well,
talking about is
let me give you the full quote from Satya.
yeah,
Most importantly, the gaming business model has to be where we have to invent. Sorry, I skipped here. So, most importantly, the game business model has to be where we have to invent maybe some new interactive media as well, because after all, gaming's competition is not other gaming. Gaming's competition is short form video. And so, if we as an industry don't continue to innovate, both how we produce, what we produce, how we think about distribution, the economic model right, the best way to innovate is to have good margins because that's the way you can fund it. Um, I mean, listen, in some way, I do agree with this statement because at the end of the day, we all only have so much time that we can spend on entertainment formats. And whether
yeah,
that's music, whether that's books, whether that's movies or TV shows, or whether that's gaming, right? And with the doom scrolling addiction in things like TikTok, um, it takes away the time that you could also be spending gaming. And the fight for time, the time is probably one of the most important things. That's why when I read this, I thought immediately of a discussion we had about games as a service titles. Listen, why does every games as a service title fail when it comes out lately? Every single one failed. Why? Because people only have so much time that they can spend on those games. And gamers already have their games as a service titles, right? They're spending hundreds of hours in Fortnite, in Warzone, in Roblox, and so on. They all do have. Everyone has their time sink already. and to create a new one is just balls hard, right? And of course, it really doesn't matter whether that's gaming or whether that's the doom scrolling on TikTok, right?
Yep.
So giving you your time, or the fight for the time of consumers, I do agree with that this is probably a big challenge, because a lot of people just scroll through TikTok rather than picking up a controller and invest $70 into a game, right? I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. I think the meaning behind the term is factual, in that people like the actual fight for the market is more people's time than anything else, completely. Yeah. So I understand where he's coming from. I think people, when they heard the sentence, took it literal as opposed to figurative.
Yeah.
And the figurative sense of the word, yes, that is true. They are fighting against the TikToks, etc., of the world, because the TikToks, etc., are what's taking up people's time.
Yeah. So he also gave a couple of other interesting things in that interview. Let me quote you something else from this interview. Remember, the biggest gaming business is the Windows business. To us, gaming on Windows, and of course, Steam has built a massive marketplace on top of it and done a very successful job. So to us, the way we are thinking about gaming is, first of all, we are now the largest publisher. So therefore, we want to be a fantastic publisher, similar in approach to what we did with Office. We are going to be everywhere on every platform. So we want to make sure, whether it's consoles, whether it's the PC, whether it's mobile, whether it's cloud gaming or the TV, we just want to make sure the game is enjoyed by gamers everywhere. So this is also, of course, reaffirming their strategy of going multi-plat, but more importantly, the emphasis on how important Windows gaming is to them. And along with a couple of other things, we'll get into it in a second, I think the direction is very clear where Satya sees Xbox evolving over the next couple of years. Xbox as the ecosystem, right? It's going to be Windows focused.
Yeah. 100% Windows focused. And then they're going to build the entire kind of ecosystem around that focus.
I agree. It's also very interesting to see that he specifically mentions, obviously, Steam as the biggest and most important storefront, because that has been the business model of consoles, right? It's always so funny when I see people talk about this. Well, it's not about selling consoles. It's about selling software. That's right, but it's about selling software in your specific store. And what they actually sold you is not the console; it is selling the store. And going fully Windows, right, and focusing more on Windows, you're definitely going to lose that part of the business, because let's face it, Steam has basically a monopoly on Windows, right? When it comes to gaming, there's no chance that their own Xbox store on PC is ever going to compete with what Steam does, right?
Yeah.
So how do you think they're gonna approach this? Because focusing now more on Windows and leaving the business of having your own store as the place where you need to buy games. How will they handle this, man?
I don't think, and it's just no affront to them, but Microsoft Store's never been good. And I don't think, no matter what they do, it will never compete with Steam
I
on a
agree.
storefront perspective. yes, they want everybody to use one store and go blah blah blah, but they're not going to lower the rates of which they take from creators or publishers. They're not going to match what Steam does on that front. They're not going to match the sales that Steam have. So you're not going to drive away consumers from. I mean, like if you have a look at Steam's summer sales or anything like that, when they do big sales, Steam, that nothing competes to that. Like nothing on Xbox ever competes to the level of sales that you can get over there.
Yeah.
So people naturally just gravitate towards Steam when they're using something that's PC orientated for their collection. Play Anywhere is their best bet. But even then, if you've got, you would have to Play Anywhere only becomes a benefit if that person has multiple devices. If they don't have a PC or they don't have a handheld and they've only got an Xbox, Play Anywhere is irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Play Anywhere thing, I would really be interested in how many gamers outside of our hardcore gamer bubble, because let's face it, we are all here in a very hardcore gamer bubble, right? Uh,
Yeah,
we probably most of us here in the chat, in the community that do listen to podcasts, that are involved in Twitter gaming, that are involved in the YouTube gaming scene. We are hardcore gamers, but we are very very big minority, right? Um, and most of us probably do own more than one gaming device, whether it's a
yeah,
console and PC or a handheld or multiple different consoles and so on. Like you do, you own everything, right? You have a PC, you have a PlayStation, you have an Xbox, you have a Switch,
yeah,
as do I, right? We have the handhelds, the Rock Alley X here, fantastic thing, but so for us, this is a selling point, definitely. Yeah, and I would assume that moving forward, they will put a big emphasis on Play Anywhere. But I doubt that in the big picture that this is bringing people over from Steam to the Xbox store. So
yeah,
focusing more on Windows, like Satya described, is probably not making up the loss of that you make if people don't buy the games anymore on the Xbox store front. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. That brings us into the discussion of next gen Xbox
yes,
because, well, of course, um, the statements from Satya and so on, they all were like, okay, the next Xbox is also gonna be Windows based, right? Um, then there was a big report coming from Jess Corden, who put that up on Windows Central, um, where he described what the next gen Xbox is gonna be. A very highly recommended article that came out like 4 days ago. He wrote that article after the interview of Sarah Bond, who reconfirmed for the 1 billionth time that yes, we are making a new Xbox console, and she was iterating on that new Xbox platform is gonna be a premium experience, is what she said.
yeah,
Yeah, suggesting that the next Xbox console is also gonna be very expensive. It's not gonna be a cheap thing. Um, and Jess Corden reiterated on that yeah, the next Xbox will indeed run on Windows. Yeah, that it will be able to play your console library though, unlike the Xbox LE. Yeah, which does only play PC games and not your console library. The next gen Xbox is gonna do that. But you will also be able to run, of course, Steam games and so on. Basically, reconfirming the rumors that have been floating around for, I want to say, at least 1.5 years now, also. Um, and that this is gonna be this device, this premium device that is gonna unify everything, right? Your console library, your PC library, everything on one device. So Dutch, let us talk about this thing. There are multiple factors. Let's start with the premium experience that Sarah Bond mentioned. What do you think did she mean by that? Is it pure hardware power? Where is it going to be priced? What is a price point that makes sense? What are your thoughts on this premium next gen Xbox console?
Oh, premium next gen Xbox console. Honestly, they've quite clearly stated that they're going to focus on really more of the hardcore or niche segment of gaming than they are the casuals going down this route.
Which kind of makes sense because
Yeah,
maybe in the United States, but outside of the United States, Xbox has never been able really to penetrate into the mass market, right?
no,
Here in across Europe, especially here in Germany, they always got outsold, like every generation 5-1 at least, right?
yeah.
Maybe during the 360 days it was not 5-1, 3-1 or something, but still, yeah, the mass market, they've never been really able to capture that with Xbox. So it kind of makes sense to focus more on the hardcore bubble, right?
It kind of does. And you're gonna have to if you're putting a premium price point on it. Not only that, but I feel like based on what you're saying about the usability of the Windows or well, the full screen Xbox
Yeah.
overlay on that, that needs significant changes before that actually becomes something that's usable to the masses.
Agreed.
It's one thing buying a 1,000, almost a £1,000 handheld. There's another thing buying something for your living room that's meant to be a console that also has the usability of a PC.
Yeah.
People don't want that in a console. People want something that's switch on, play the game, turn it off. That's why people like consoles.
Yes. The
They don't
convenience
want
factor.
consoles to be PCs. Yeah. Yes, they want certain features that PCs have, like multiple storefronts, like being able to access games from everywhere, but they want the convenience factor of a console. And I don't feel like, based on what I've heard about the ROG Xbox Ali X, the full screen of that is that yet. I don't feel like they're at that point yet.
No, they're not. They're definitely not. But I'm not sure if that's what she meant with premium experience. I actually truly believe, and I'm fully on board with that, to have a beefier console, because consoles at launch in the previous generation and the current generation, they all launched at around 500 euros, right? Or US dollars, plus minus. And they were always subsidized hardware because, well, they didn't sell you the hardware, they sold you the store, like I mentioned earlier. So it was a subsidized hardware. If you're moving, of course, to Windows, you're not gonna be able to really subsidize it anymore because you're gonna lose that storefront. You're gonna lose that to Steam. So I'm fully on board with this having all your games, your console library and your PC library in one place. And I'm also
Yeah.
fully on board if a console would cost, let's say, $1,000 or euros. Yeah. Because if you think about it, your console generation lasts at least 6 years, typically more likely 8 years, right? And I'm
Yeah.
playing this device like almost every day for 8 years. I want that thing to be good in hardware. And I remember very vividly the launch of the Series X. And of course, for a 500 euro device, you got at that time when it launched very good hardware, right? You got you were not able to build a PC with similar specs for 500 bucks. You just weren't. Now, this is, of course, a very different story 5 years later. But since I'm using that console so much over 8 years, and even if it's just 6 years, yeah, a device that I'm using every day, yeah, I'm willing to spend a little bit more and get more for it. They have tried with the Series S, right? The exact different approach. Try to have a very price friendly introduction into Xbox console gaming. And they didn't gain any market share because of that. Yeah, it is cool that it's there, but it didn't help them to penetrate the mass market and become the console that people pick up off the shelves because it's 200 bucks less. So why not try it the other way around? Really put in a a really good GPU, enough RAM, a good CPU, right? Why not do that? And then that thing costs 1,000, 1,200, I don't know. Why not try that? I'd be up for that. I'd love to have more uh, computational prowess in my console.
Yeah.
And I think that this is what she meant. But then I also remembered, and she didn't really mention it in this week's interview. However, when they revealed that partnership with AMD and talked about the Magnus chip set, right? They also mentioned that this is a chip design that is built to be scaled. Yeah, you can scale that architecture down to lower specs, and maybe they will do a two SKU approach again. A handheld, a Switch-like device with a lot less power for 5, 6, 700, right? And the console that you put under your TV, even though it's not really subsidized anymore, for 1,200 under your TV, to have a
Do
really
you think they
like a
do that?
beefy
Do you think they
PC.
do that though?
I could see that. I could definitely see that because they could offer that. Then it's basically a pre-built PC, right? If it runs some sort of Windows, um, similar to the full screen experience, it's basically a pre-built PC. But since they are buying those chips en masse, right? And the RAM and the memory and everything, you buy that en masse. You could still be price wise below an equivalent regular pre built PC. And that without subsidizing it. You could also, you can, save a lot of money on the stuff because if you do build such a PC console thing, right? For instance, your motherboard doesn't need to have like 3 extra PCI Express slots, and you do not need 12 USB slots. 2 are enough, and so on. So you can also save on that front end towards a regular pre-built PC. And with that, they could still be pricing themselves below a standard PC pre-built, but deliver a really premium experience. And people in the mass market, it doesn't matter whether you price your console at 500 or $1,000. People in the mass market will not pick up an Xbox anyway. But with that, you could really target the hardcore gaming bubble that wants a convenient pre-built PC that maybe, I don't know, has an equivalent of a 5080, something in that ballpark, right? Or 6080 by the time this comes out. But not in that ballpark of a 5060s, 5070, which when the Series X came out, the Series X is an equivalent to a 2070, or was a, yeah, and just because for price reasons. And I know everything got more expensive over time, which is a different discussion. We had that a couple of podcasts ago, but yeah, I would be up for a really really good console, and if it's priced at $1,000 or even 1,200, I would still buy it because I use that thing for 8 years on a daily basis. I don't know how you feel about such a premium hardware.
It would have to be really good. It would have to be really good and have to be refined.
But what would be your alternative? I mean, it's always, it comes always down to what is your alternative. The alternative would be build your own PC. Would you be able to do that cheaper? Maybe, but then you wouldn't have the specs.
It depends. I say ultimately it depends on what you're aiming for.
Of course.
And what Xbox aiming for. Because when you're getting out of the, should we say, console territory, then you're also getting out of console price ranges.
Yes, you do.
And I think that's also something that Xbox are essentially going to be doing here. Is getting out of those console price ranges, console usability, the power. I think the difference will be, as well as the power to price ratio from the console to a PC of similar standard, won't be as great like it is now. If you have a look at console and how it's refined and how it's optimized in order to kind of run on consoles, you can't build a PC for the same power or the same output as you would for console at the moment. Like, even if you're getting like a 500 or 600 on a Series X or a PlayStation 5, you're not going to be able to build a PC that will give you the same output in performance and quality as you do the consoles for the same price.
Yeah.
But with Xbox stepping into what could potentially be the 1,000 mark for a PC console hybrid, then it's an entirely different ballpark of conversation, because they're theoretically not going to be optimizing for a console anymore. They're going to be a PC, as it were, that's masquerading as a console. So the power, I don't think the power ratio to price is going to be on par with what PC will be able to do for the same. Like, if you built a PC, be able to do for the same price.
Yeah. No, I don't think I agree on that, because I do agree that the specific optimizations that developers do for a console versions, they would be gone, because it would simply be the PC version of the game, right? That is running then on your Xbox Premium or whatever it's called. And you wouldn't have the specific console optimizations anymore. However, you could still argue that, I don't know if they sell 10 or 20 million or 30 million units of one specific pre-built PC. Developers could still do a lot of things, and they probably will. They are already testing like pre-compiled shaders for downloads, right? Which is basically exactly that, optimizing for one specific hardware configuration. So yeah, the question would be, yeah, could a lower spec PlayStation that will have that console specific optimization then keep up with a PC version that is running on a non-optimized PC version that is running on a better hardware, yeah, be on par with that? So will that be the difference? But if you compare it to other pre-built PC, I think there they will still have the advantage because of a very specific hardware set that is, or hardware configuration that is has sold multi-millions of units, yeah, which no other hardware configuration has. But yeah, do you think there is a market for that? Let's assume the next Xbox costs, I'm gonna put it out there, $1,200.
Oh,
Is there a market for this, or would that be a mistake?
there's always a market for something, but it's the size of the market. That's the issue. And I don't believe the size of that market. If, for instance, they mentioned a new Xbox, it's already a
Yeah,
tough sell as it is because the current Xbox isn't selling even at 500 or 600
yeah.
or less. And then you double that price, regardless of how powerful it is. And they go, the new PlayStation's coming out, the new Xbox is coming out. The new Xbox, however, is a hybrid console PC. You think parents or kids are going to care?
Do they care
No,
now? Do they care now where they have a
exactly,
Series S available? So
exactly.
they lost that market
Pricing
anyway.
wise, pricing wise, they're going to go into it though. If they release two consoles, let's say, and Xbox are still saying masquerading this as a console, regardless if it's hybrid, and then them two new consoles come out at a similar time, and the PlayStation is, let's say, if, for argument's sake, 700 at launch,
Yes.
Xbox is 1200. That's it's already dead. Regardless of what it can do, it's dead on arrival.
I'm not sure.
I
Because
think it
you
is.
are
I think
aiming with that, with
the
that,
hardcore like us, yes, it's fine. We know what it is, we know what it's going to do, and we know what it's capable of. But for the average consumer,
yeah, but the
it's
average
all
consumer, they lost them anyway. It doesn't matter whether that console costs 500 or 1200. The casual consumer is not buying Xbox anyway. They are
yep.
buying a
But
Switch.
they're
They are
going to
buying
buy it
a
even less now.
PlayStation. Yeah, they will probably sell even less. I agree there. Yeah, but I think that they could justify their hardware with,
Put it this way, though,
making
they've
them
still
stand out
sold,
with something.
even though they've lost even though they've lost the casual consumers, they still managed to sell over 30 million, 40 million units, whatever it is, this generation.
Which is
At the
basically the
price,
hardcore gamer bubble.
yeah, but at the price, yeah, but hardcore gamers aren't, for the majority, on spending 1,200 quid. Even on PC, even PC gamers, for the majority of the time, you can have a look on Steam's database of cards that are
Yeah.
installed and people, and you can see that the vast majority have really potato PCs for the
Yes.
majority. So it's only the hardcore less than 5% at the top that have the new cards.
It definitely is a gamble. It definitely is a
Yeah.
gamble, because especially the hardcore gamers, they are willing to invest even more.
Yeah.
right? They are buying the 5080s, the 5090s, and build their PCs at 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 bucks. And you're not going to be able to compete with those, right?
No.
If you're a PC gamer and you want to invest into PC gaming, you're willing to spend 3,000 and more, right, for your PC. So I know it's a gamble, but it's something interesting. It is something to break out of that cycle where they try to compete with PlayStation, which they simply can't in the mass market, with something different. Yes, premium price, but premium experience. But that what would make that for you a premium console? What would it need to do to be priced at 1,000 or 1,200 bucks to justify that for you?
Make my breakfast, tidy the
Oh.
house. um, no, to be fair, it's if I'm going to be spending on that, I think the UI, the usability, everything needs to be as physically close to console experience as possible.
Yeah, I think
And by that I mean completely disintegrate the need for me to automatically have to physically go and press a button and update the drivers when I need them. All of these drivers should automatically, like it does on console, just update. If it needs something updating, you turn the console on, it says you need update, and it updates. Like that's it. Like not a case of having to go in and sort the drivers out yourself. Everything needs to be automatic. Everything needs to be seamless so that when you turn it on, all you need to worry about is playing the game. There's the game, play the game. Install the game, play the game. That's it. Everything else should not be a manual task like it is on a PC.
I agree.
That's what people don't want on a console. It
I
needs to be a
agree.
seamless
You
experience.
can have the best hardware, but if the experience still feels PC like, this is not doing anything. I
Yeah,
think they can get away with if they really invest into a great chip, good GPU, great CPU, um, good NPU, enough memory, right, and so on.
yeah,
Do a pre-built PC. That's all cool, and I think this could actually be something. Especially if they go with a two SKU approach, which I assume they will. But the second SKU isn't a Series S like situation. It's going to be their dedicated handheld that you then can dock to your TV.
yeah,
But the experience itself, and this is also what Jess Corden wrote in his article. He made it sound like that's exactly going to be, you're not going to notice that it's Windows that you're booting in. If they can pull that off, very cool. Very cool. What they have done with the Rock LEX and the Rock LES um, with the full screen experience is not it. It's definitely not it. But if they can pull that aspect off, like you said, the convenience of the console to simply turn your games on, it has to be seamless. It has to be a lot more automatic. You do not want to boot into the separate Steam app. You do not want to boot into the Epic app. You do not want to have to friggle around with the settings in the Armory crate, and you do not want to browse through Windows and four different locations where you need to download different updates. If they can remove that friction and bring your console library to this, I think they could have something really special in their hands. And then I'm absolutely willing to pay 1,000, 1,200 or more for a good gaming device that will run my games for 6 to 8 years, right? Um, but yeah, the usability issue is the big thing that they need to focus on. And honestly,
Yeah.
that's a typical Microsoft or Xbox problem. They do have so many times great visions, great ideas, but the execution is poor. And I was really hoping for more in the full screen experience that they've advertised so heavily for the launch of the LEX. And it's not even close to where it needs to be. And I'm not talking about bugs, but not even trying to attempt the biggest issues that PC handheld gaming has. And if they cannot solve it for a handheld, or do not even try to attempt to address it for a handheld, I'm not really confident that Xbox, even though they have a great vision, will execute it properly. Because execution is what they have lacked of for so many years now. Of great visions and great ideas. Um, well, Dutch,
I agree.
anything you would like to add?
No, no, I think we've quite covered that relatively decent.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. The one thing why I also would love that, and let me put it this way, is the PlayStation is also not gonna be 500 at launch. The PlayStation 6, we all know that it's also gonna be somewhere in that ballpark of 700-800 euros, more or less. Yeah. So gaming is becoming more expensive. Yeah. However, them doing something really different than PlayStation is gonna make things a lot more interesting. Because right now the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, and it was the same during the PS4 and Xbox One generation, and they are so close together, right? They are doing the exact same thing. That you can always argue, oh, but in this game, this console has 3 more pixels, and in this game, in this one scene, you get 2 frames more for 5 seconds. But overall, the hardware is so comparable, so similar, and the entire experience is so similar, right? Um, the last time we had actually really different hardware was during the 360 generation, where the PS3 went with the cell architecture, right? And Xbox had a had the x86 architecture, and you had something really different in those devices. It was interesting to see, okay, where do games run better? Where do they look better? Which games are actually making a difference? And that's the good thing, right? If Xbox does something different, they price their console at a premium, and they do really have different hardware in there. They have the Magnus chip. Yeah, we know PlayStation is also going to go with AMD. However, different architecture, different chipset, and different price point and different specs. We could actually this distinction, or the comparisons in between the different devices from Switch to PlayStation to Xbox Premium, um, would be actually interesting again, right?
Oh, completely. It would definitely be something to argue about, at least. And by argue, I mean at least it'll be a good comparison from one to the other. Because at
Yeah,
the minute, like you say, there isn't a real comparison about it. So
yeah, and then you as a consumer can make your informed purchase decision again. Because right now,
yeah,
let's be honest, it really doesn't matter for most gamers whether you buy a PlayStation or an Xbox. The games look the same, they run the same, right? And now, thanks to Xbox going multiplat, they basically play the same games. Um, but pricing them in a different situation uh, is something that could really make things interesting again. And again, Xbox needs to do something different with the next gen Xbox. If they would do just another console with very similar specs to the PlayStation, it would not change anything. And with
No.
at least if they try to do a premium experience and if they try to unify console and PC gaming, it would actually make a difference. Yeah, there will be plenty of people that will say, well, that's not for me, I don't game on PC, I don't care. Good on them. um, they can play the Xbox games then on their PlayStation. But for those who do have a Steam library and those who do have a console library and or multiple devices like a handheld where they go back and forth, this could be an actual real difference than towards what their competitor PlayStation and Nintendo have to offer or will offer. So gonna be very interesting. When do you
Oh,
think?
it is.
Do you still think 26 is gonna be the year, or is it gonna be 27? When do you think we will see more? Because we are hearing so much now about this next gen. So many Xbox
No,
executives already
I'm
talk for
thinking
years now about next gen. So
I'm thinking they unveil it next year and we get it the year after.
I agree. I also think that with the 25-year anniversary of Xbox, they're gonna do a reveal. They will explain what this console is gonna be, that it's gonna be hybrid PC. You will be able to play Steam, your console games, your backward compatibility games, and everything in one place. It's the true gaming machine, the one and only machine that unifies all of your library truly. And then they will launch it in 27.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, Dutch. Well, let us move on. Let's stick with Xbox for a second. Yes, apparently this November, we are already in November. It's crazy, man, how fast that
It
year
is.
passed by.
The year is going too quick.
Too quick, dude. At work, we are already planning our end of the year stuff, it's totally crazy. However, for gaming, this does not only mean tons of games come out, but Just Cotton also posted on Windows Central that Xbox will have a partner preview event slated for this November, and that Xbox Play Anywhere will play the headline act. So over the last years, we also did get that partner program once a year. Last year, 2 years ago, they also had that partner preview. It was usually somewhere in August or September. This year,
Yeah.
we didn't have it so far, but apparently it's coming out this November. What do you expect from that, man?
Honestly, not much. The partner previews are usually it is a bunch of third-party games, which is again it's good for everybody, but it's nothing major. It's not usually anything massive. Not for me anyway. It could be that they announce a couple of things that are already on PlayStation that come to Nintendo, such as Silent Hill 2. There's already been things about that where the ratings have been leaked, etc., for it, but really, I don't expect much.
I would usually agree with you because, well, at these partner preview programs, usually we don't see new games. We see already announced games from third-party publishers, which is always cool, but it's not like, ooh, yeah, this is going to set the world on fire. If they actually really focus on the Play Anywhere thing, since I'm currently playing so much on my ROG Ally X, way more than I did on my OG Ally, honestly. But maybe that's just because I'm still in the honeymoon phase. I got new hardware, new device to play on. But since now I lost my train of thought. yeah, because I am playing so much, and I'm assuming I will continue to play more. Simply because the battery life now is so good with the ROG Xbox LEX that it allows me to play so much more convenient. My games in my daily routines, this is very interesting to see which third-party games will actually support Play Anywhere, because that's still, of course, right now the problem, the third-party problem that I've been talking about for 3 years now, ever since I did own the OG LE. The third-party problem is, okay, where do I buy my third-party games, right? I don't know. I just finished Borderlands. I did buy it on the console, but that didn't allow me to play it on the LE, yeah, because I own it there. So Play Anywhere is definitely the a big factor for me right now, and for that alone, I'm looking forward to see the partner preview program. Are some of the bigger titles that will come out this and early next year actually be
Yeah,
Play Anywhere, because that really influences my purchase decision. All right, Dutch, let's talk about something, well, not so exciting, and
yeah,
move away from Xbox for a minute. Amazon laid off thousands of people this week, right? The outcry globally, they laid off 20,000 people, and usually which is awful, of course, for the people affected, but usually we don't talk about stuff like that because this is a gaming podcast. So if Amazon does something like that, however, this time also a lot of gaming stuff has been affected. New World, the Amazon MMO, probably their
yeah,
only at least remotely successful release, a gaming release so far. It's officially ending now its development after the huge layoffs, right? It will remain online through 2026, but there will be no further updates released. Amazon was also working on a big Lord of the Rings MMO, right? Which actually was or did sound kind of interesting, but that has also been cancelled now, suggesting that Amazon basically is leaving the gaming business at all. So, Dutch, what are
yeah.
your thoughts on this, man?
It was kind of expected on my behalf, mainly because they started off with this Amazon Luna thing. Everyone was mentioning. I was having a chat about
Yeah,
it the other day. Actually, people were mentioning, "Oh, well, Amazon and Google are still there." I'm like, "No, they're not. No, they're not." When was the last time you seen actual concerted effort by Amazon or Google to advertise that they were still in gaming?
yeah.
There isn't. There
Google
isn't
not
any.
so
They're not.
much. I mean, Amazon occasionally with a lot of the Rings they MMO that they've been working on. They've been talking about that. Yeah,
Yeah, but from another standpoint, yeah, they're not really in it. And I don't think, and this is what I mentioned about it's how difficult it is to get into gaming or be a gaming developer or be a gaming publisher or be a gaming platform holder. It's such a massive investment.
I agree.
Like, it's not just an overnight thing. Like it's you've got to have be willing to take massive losses before you get um, any wins or victories.
Yeah,
And these companies, Amazon, etc., are just looking at it and going, "It's not worth it.
I agree. Too
It's
much
not worth it."
investment.
By the time it's the time it takes to recoup those
Yeah,
investments.
the time till you
Like
get your return of investment is just insanely
it's
high in gaming.
massive, six,
Yeah.
7, 8 years per game, per game.
And then there's always the chance that it's a flop and you will not.
Yep, and then you don't recoup shit. You don't
Yeah,
recoup anything, not even what you invested.
yeah,
So no, I understand why some of these companies just look at it and go, nah. It's not worth it. Not even to have studios. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an kind of unfortunate. There's always bad news if a developer or publisher leaves the business, but in this case, it really doesn't come as a surprise.
Yeah.
I do agree there. I do agree there. All right, Dutch. Let's move over to the community questions for this week. Usually, when we do the show on Thursdays, we put up posts on Wednesdays on all social media channels here on YouTube, of course, but also on X or Blue Sky and everywhere. People can write in their questions or topics they would like us to discuss. This week, we put up the post yesterday, and we got a couple of good ones. Rave Demos writes in and says, "Happy Halloween, World of Gaming, and happy Saturday, everyone. What do you think the next Xbox should be called? Do you think third-party OEMs will continue branding their Xboxes like how Asus puts name on the Xbox Rock LEX? Will that trend continue?" So basically, a two-part question. What should be the name? And do you think we will get third-party next-gen Xboxes?
Yes, I can see third-party next-gen Xboxes. The name, God knows. God knows. Microsoft don't have a great history of naming conventions.
Yeah. I mean, listen, how can you name your third console the Xbox One? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the name is probably gonna be something awful. On the third party thing, I'm torn there, honestly. Because I could see different devices being Xbox branded, but I'm not sure if that's gonna be then a proper Xbox console. Simply for the fact of licensing issues. The problem that they will be facing is, okay, we do have some sort of emulator or whatever to do console um, to play your console games, you know. The next Xbox, it will be Windows based, but it will run your Xbox console library through emulation or something. So, which is cool. But that would mean that every PC will be getting those console games as well. And I highly doubt that, because there's just too much licensing issues involved. If Xbox makes sure that the console games only run on their own hardware, right? Then it is an legally, from a legal perspective, still an Xbox console, and they can do that backwards compatibility program. If they would allow third-party publishers to do a console, I'm not sure if those licenses would be carried over. Maybe they have a certain situation where they can figure that out, and then yes. But if not, I'm not sure if we will see like real third-party consoles. I could see more Xbox branded PCs out there. Yeah, that will then not run the console library and do basically exactly what Asus did now. Yeah, that I could definitely see, but with console games, I'm not sure if we will see third-party support simply for the legal aspect of licensing. So, but it's gonna be interesting to see.
And completely.
And
I can't. I don't know what the. God knows what the name's going to be.
yeah.
But I can see. Yes, I can see others get involved in making Xboxes. Yes, I can see Uh, yeah, it's going to be a strange one.
It definitely will. I mean, when they announced the Magnus chip with AMD, the corporation there, they definitely made it sound like, okay, this does not necessarily have to be only used by Xbox, this chip, but that it is set or developed for a range of different devices. That definitely sounded, because how many devices are we talking about here if only Xbox does them, right? Are we talking
Yeah,
two? Yeah, the console for the TV and the handheld, and that's it. They're not gonna do more than two from Xbox themselves. And that's not a range of devices. So they definitely made it sound like, okay, this chipset is gonna be used also by others. Meaning, of course, either Asus or Lenovo or whoever. But will it be the same console experience where you can actually play your console library? I'm not sure. I'm not really not sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. Archie Sergeant Sentinel writes in. Here's my question. Now that we've seen a Gears of War drop on PlayStation, do you think Gears 2 will get ported next? I doubt it. Honestly, because they are not gonna port the 360 version of Gears 2 or Gears 3 for that matter. If they port it, they would need to do another remaster or remake of it. And I'm not sure if that is in the works. I know there have been the rumors about the Gears collection, the Marcus Phoenix collection, um, for years now, for many years, right? But that never
Yeah,
really came to fruition. All we got is the remaster of the remaster, which was great, and it was fun to play Gears again. Don't get me wrong, but Gears 2 and 3 never got a remake that they could now port over. So I doubt that I doubt that we will get a Gears 2 and 3 remake. They are now fully working on Gears E Day, and that will be ported. But Gears 2, I doubt it. I don't know. What do you think?
yeah, exactly the same. I remember seeing the question when he asked it, and I thought, well, the difference between the two is that there isn't a Gears 2 and 3 remake or anything like that that's already available. So it's not like they can just automatically do it because
Yeah,
it's not there.
yeah, exactly. It would require so much effort for probably not that many sales. If they decide in some point in time to actually remake 2 and 3, yes, then they will definitely come to PlayStation. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think we will get a Gears collection, and I think the next Gears is gonna be Gears E Day, and yes, that will come to PlayStation. Um, maybe we are wrong.
Yep,
Maybe we are wrong.
yep. The way, I mean, there's no saying that they won't do it. It's just that in order to do it, they would have to remake it
Yeah,
for everybody. And we've been asking them to do a full Markets Phoenix collection for years. So considering they're working on ED and they've already got other ones
yeah,
in the line, I can't see that happening.
agree, agreed. Although I would love a Gears 2, way more a remake, because we never got a remake for that, and Gears 2 and 3 are my favorites. So
No, I completely agree. I'd love it as well.
yeah, yeah. The Big Bridge writes in. The night is dark and early quiet. The campfire glows with a warm yet menacing flame. The owls hoot and the wolves howl. You and a band of gamers huddle around the fire and exchange your spookiest video game moments to keep your spirits up till dawn. What's your most spooky video game moment? Doesn't necessarily need to be a jump scare, it can be just ambient too. Happy Halloween.
Oof.
Spookiest video game moment.
It might be probably maybe it's even. Oh, what's the name of the game? Oh, it was the Sega game that came out, Condemned.
Condemned. Mm.
I still remember that. Still remember that. That game. Creep the dolls and everything just creep the shit out of me.
I mean, it's a good question because, of course, over the years, things became less scary. Yeah. Um, of course, I would say Resident Evil 1. I was 13, 14 years old,
Yeah.
maybe 15. When did Resident Evil 1 came out? That was 1969. So I was 13 years old. And I remember my best friend had Resident Evil, and we were sitting in his basement a Saturday night, playing that game. And there was this one scene, remember that where the dogs jumped through the windows? I
Yeah.
shit my pants. Dude, it was like, would that scare me today as much? Of course not. So, but at the time, this was like definitely something that stuck with me. But I also remember on the GameCube, the game Eternal Darkness.
Yes.
It
I
didn't
remember
have
that.
that many jump scare moments, but it was just like this really creepy, dark atmosphere that really got under my skin.
I
So,
remember that.
yeah. Yeah, good question. The Big Bridge always writes in these super creative questions. Can't thank him enough. But that's all of the questions for this week. And that brings us to an end of this show. Um, I want to say a big thank you for everyone who tuned in here today on a Saturday evening or afternoon, depending on where you're listening, right? Of course, a big thank you to everyone who listens after the fact here on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple Podcast if you made it to the end. We super appreciate you guys coming out on a Saturday. Very unusual time slot for us. So next week we hope to be back on Thursday again on the regular time. Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Europe, or 7 p.m. UK time. But Dutch, before we let everyone out, let everyone know where they can find you and what you've coming up, man.
Yeah, certainly. So you can find me. I wouldn't even say on X because I'm very rarely on X anymore. You can find me. Maybe he's on Xbox. Maybe he's on Switch. And then here, when I'm on the podcast, is where you can find me.
All right, all right. So guys, yeah, again, a big thank you for tuning in. We hope you did enjoy the show. We hopefully will be back this Thursday, and it's the weekend, so play some games. There's so much to play out there.
Yeah.
Consider getting an Xbox Ellie because it is a absolute fantastic gaming device. But of course, I understand if that's too pricey or if you don't have the use case for it. Just enjoy your gaming wherever you game, and don't forget to game on.